There is something deeply wrong with the eggs in your fridge. For thousands of years, eggs were considered a complete food, dense nutrition in a perfect package. They sustained farmers through brutal workdays, fed families through long winters, and were prized as a symbol of health and vitality. But today, that same word, eggs, describes something that comes with warnings about cholesterol, concerns about inflammation, and a pale, watery yolk that looks nothing like what your great-grandmother cracked into her pan. In medieval Europe, a working peasant ate eggs regularly, often daily when hens were laying. These weren't just calories, they were nutrient-dense fuel, deep orange yolks, rich flavor, thick whites that held their shape in the pan. The people who ate them worked from sunrise to sunset. They built stone cathedrals. They plowed fields by hand, and they thrived. No epidemic of heart disease, no cholesterol panic, no warnings to limit eggs to twice a week. Fast forward to today. Heart disease is the leading cause of death. Doctors tell you to watch your cholesterol. Nutrition guidelines warn against eating too many eggs. Meanwhile, the eggs in your carton have pale yellow yolks, thin watery whites, and almost no flavor. Your grandparents ate eggs every morning without worry. So what the hell changed? The answer isn't that eggs became dangerous. The answer is that modern eggs are not the same food. They're an industrialized product, created in conditions that strip away nutrition and introduce contamination. And the medieval farmer who gathered eggs from his backyard hens knew something about nutrition that the egg industry desperately wants you to forget. Before we go deeper, drop a comment and tell us, do you eat eggs regularly? Have you noticed differences between store eggs and farm eggs? Let us know below, because what you're about to discover will change how you see every carton on the shelf. Section 1. The modern failure. Eggs that aren't eggs. Pick up a carton of eggs at the supermarket. The label says grade A large, maybe vegetarian fed, maybe even cage-free. But crack open them and look at the yolks. They're pale yellow. Crack one into a pan, and the white spreads thin across the surface, watery and weak. The yolk breaks easily. And the taste? Barely anything. This is what we've been conditioned to accept as normal. But it's not normal. It's the result of an industrial system that prioritizes production volume over nutritional quality. Modern eggs come from hens packed into massive operations. Tens of thousands of birds in a single facility. These hens live their entire lives indoors under artificial light. They never see the sun. They never touch grass. They never scratch in dirt looking for bugs. They're fed a standardized ration of corn and soy, engineered for rapid growth and maximum egg production. The goal is simple: produce the most eggs in the shortest time at the lowest cost. Nutrition isn't part of the equation. Medieval eggs came from hens that lived outside. They ranged freely, scratching in pastures, eating grass, seeds, insects, worms. That diet produced eggs with deep orange yolks, thick whites, and shells so strong you had to crack them hard. The difference wasn't the breed of chicken, it was what the chicken ate and how it lived. A hen is basically a nutrient processor. What goes in determines what comes out. Feed a hen nothing but corn and soy, and you get a nutritionally empty egg. Let a hen eat what chickens naturally eat, bugs, greens, seeds, and you get a completely different product. Section 2. What changed? The single biggest difference between medieval eggs and modern eggs is what the chickens ate. Medieval hens were true omnivores. They ate kitchen scraps, garden waste, insects, grubs, worms, grass, seeds, and whatever they could forage. That diverse diet delivered a complex mix of nutrients that ended up concentrated in the egg. Modern hens eat a monotonous diet of commodity grains, almost entirely GMO corn and soy. These grains are cheap and energy-dense, perfect for maximizing production, but they're nutritionally inferior to the diverse diet hens naturally seek. Here's the nutritional breakdown. A 2007 study published in the journal Renewable Agriculture and Food Systems compared eggs from hens raised on pasture to standard supermarket eggs. The pastured eggs had 1/3 less cholesterol, 1/4 less saturated fat, 2/3 more vitamin A, 2 times more omega-3 fatty acids, 3 times more vitamin E, and 7 times more beta-carotene. That beta-carotene is what gives the yolk its deep orange color. It's a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells and supports immune function. Pale yellow yolks have almost none. But the most important difference is the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. They support brain health, heart health, and reduce chronic disease risk. Omega-6s in excess are pro-inflammatory and contribute to chronic disease. Medieval eggs from hens eating bugs and greens had a ratio close to 1:1. Modern eggs from grain-fed hens have ratios as high as 1:20. You're getting 20 times more inflammatory fats than anti-inflammatory ones. That's not food, that's a recipe for disease. Then there's vitamin K2, one of the most important and overlooked nutrients. K2 directs calcium into your bones and teeth and keeps it out of your arteries. It's found in animal foods, especially from animals eating green plants. Pastured hens eating grass produce eggs rich in K2. Grain-fed hens produce almost none. Studies have linked adequate K2 intake to reduced heart disease, stronger bones, and better dental health. Medieval people eating eggs from foraging hens got plenty. You're getting almost nothing from supermarket eggs. Section 3. What changed? The living conditions. Medieval hens lived outside. They scratched in the dirt. They dust-bathed in the sun. They roosted in trees or simple shelters at night. They had space to move, social structures, and natural behaviors. This wasn't sentimentality, it was practical. Healthy chickens produced better eggs and stayed productive longer. Stress kills egg production. A hen that's sick, crowded, or miserable lays fewer eggs or stops entirely. Modern egg production operates on a different logic. Hens are kept in controlled environment buildings with artificial lighting timed to manipulate laying cycles. In conventional operations, hens are in battery cages so small they can't spread their wings. Even cage-free operations often pack thousands of birds into giant barns with barely more space per bird. The air is thick with ammonia from waste. Disease spreads rapidly, so hens are given antibiotics. The stress is constant. These hens are biological machines, pushed to their limits and discarded after 1 or 2 laying cycles when production drops. That stress affects the eggs. Research from the University of Reading in the UK found that hens under chronic stress produce eggs with elevated levels of corticosterone, a stress hormone. When you eat those eggs, you're consuming that hormone. Stress also depletes nutrients. A stressed hen pulls from her own body reserves to keep producing eggs, resulting in eggs with lower nutrient density. Medieval hens lived low-stress lives. They laid seasonally, taking natural breaks. The eggs they produced came from hens in good health, and that health was transferred to the egg. Section 4. What changed? The breed. Medieval chickens were hardy, dual-purpose breeds, good for eggs and good for meat. Breeds like the Dorking, the Houdan, the old-style Sussex. These birds matured slowly, lived long, and laid moderate amounts of eggs with rich yolks and strong shells. They were adapted to forage, survive weather, and resist disease. Modern egg production uses hybrid breeds engineered for one purpose: maximum egg output. The Leghorn is the dominant breed, developed to lay over 300 eggs per year, compared to 150 to 200 for heritage breeds. That extreme productivity comes at a cost. These birds burn out fast. Their bodies are under constant metabolic stress. They're more fragile, more prone to disease, and their eggs are nutritionally diluted. You can't get 300 high-quality eggs per year from a single hen. The body can't source that many nutrients from a grain-only diet, so the eggs are quantity over quality. Thin shells, pale yolks, weak whites. Medieval hens laid fewer eggs, but each one was packed with nutrition because the hen had time to recover and replenish between cycles. Section 5. What changed? The chemical contamination. Modern hens are fed not just corn and soy, but feed laced with additives. Synthetic vitamins to make up for nutritional gaps. Antibiotics to prevent disease in crowded conditions. Sometimes even arsenic-based compounds to promote growth and improve flesh color in spent hens. Pesticide and herbicide residues from GMO feed crops concentrate in the hen's body and end up in the egg. Glyphosate, the herbicide used on most corn and soy, has been found in egg samples. This chemical disrupts gut bacteria and is classified as a probable carcinogen. Then there's the salmonella problem. Industrial egg operations are breeding grounds for pathogens. Tens of thousands of hens packed together, waste accumulating, poor ventilation. It's perfect for bacteria. That's why eggs are washed and refrigerated in the US, stripping away the natural protective coating on the shell. Medieval eggs didn't need refrigeration. The hens lived clean lives outdoors. The eggs had intact cuticles that sealed out bacteria. You could store them at room temperature for weeks. Modern eggs are fragile, contaminated, and require cold chain logistics just to stay safe. Section 6. The proof. In 2010, Mother Earth News conducted a wide survey comparing pastured eggs to USDA data for conventional eggs. The pastured eggs had 4 to 6 times more vitamin D, a critical nutrient for immune health and bone strength. Vitamin D deficiency is epidemic today, and one major reason is that our food no longer contains it. Medieval people got vitamin D from sun exposure and from animal foods, including eggs from outdoor hens. Your supermarket eggs have almost none. A 2003 study in the journal Animal Feed Science and Technology found that the fatty acid profile of eggs can be radically changed within weeks based on hen diet. When hens were switched from grain to pasture, omega-3 levels in eggs tripled within 3 weeks. This proves the egg is a direct reflection of what the hen eats. Feed her garbage, you get a garbage egg. Feed her a species-appropriate diet, you get a nutrient-dense superfood. And the taste difference is undeniable. Anyone who's eaten a real pastured egg knows immediately. The yolk is thick, stands tall, deep orange. The white is firm and gels in the pan. The flavor is rich, almost buttery. There's no comparison to the watery, bland product in the supermarket. That flavor is nutrition. Your body recognizes it as real food. Section 7. Why we abandoned what worked. The shift happened after World War II. Industrialization hit agriculture hard. The goal was to produce cheap protein for a growing population. Chickens were moved indoors into controlled facilities. Breeding focused on output. Feed became standardized commodity grains. Automation replaced human labor. Costs dropped. Egg prices fell. Availability skyrocketed. On paper, it was a success. Eggs became affordable for everyone. But the trade-off was quality. In 1950, the average American ate about 400 eggs per year. By 1970, that dropped to under 300. Why? The cholesterol scare. Flawed studies in the 1960s blamed dietary cholesterol for heart disease. Eggs were villainized. Health authorities told people to limit eggs. The industry responded by ramping up production volume to maintain revenue despite falling per capita consumption. Quality dropped further. It became a race to the bottom. Cheapest production wins. Nutrition was irrelevant, but the science was wrong. Recent research has shown that dietary cholesterol has minimal impact on blood cholesterol for most people. The real culprits are sugar, refined carbs, and industrial seed oils, the exact things that replaced eggs in the Western diet. Meanwhile, eggs from pastured hens contain nutrients that actively protect against heart disease, omega-3s, K2, choline, and antioxidants. Medieval people ate eggs without guilt or fear, and they didn't have epidemics of heart disease. That came later when we abandoned real food for industrial products. Section 8. How to eat real eggs again. If you want eggs that nourish instead of harm, you have to be selective. First, find a local source. Farmers markets, small farms, neighbors with backyard hens. Ask how the hens live. Do they go outside? Do they eat bugs and grass? What do they get fed? A real pastured egg will have a deep orange yolk. If it's pale yellow, the hen didn't eat greens or bugs. Walk away. Second, if local isn't available, look for labels that mean something. Pasture-raised is better than free-range, which often just means access to a small dirt lot. Organic means no pesticides in feed, which matters. But organic alone doesn't guarantee outdoor access or quality diet. You want both, and expect to pay more. Real eggs cost more because they cost more to produce. A dozen pastured eggs might be $5 to $8. A dozen factory eggs are $2. But you're not comparing the same product. One is food, one is filler. Third, if you have space, raise your own hens. Even a small backyard can support 3 to 5 hens. They'll eat your kitchen scraps, control pests, fertilize your garden, and give you the best eggs you've ever tasted. It's not hard. Chickens are low maintenance, and the return on investment in health and food quality is massive. If you're learning something valuable here, hit that like button and subscribe. We're digging up the knowledge that the industrial food system buried because it threatens their profits. The medieval farmer gathering eggs from his hens wasn't ignorant. He was working with a natural system that produced nutrient-dense food. We traded that system for efficiency and scale. We moved hens indoors, fed them cheap grains, and pushed them to produce at unnatural rates. And now we wonder why eggs, once a symbol of vitality, come with health warnings. The answer is simple. We stopped raising chickens, we started running egg factories, the hens became units of production, the eggs became commodity products. Nutrition was sacrificed for cost. Medieval eggs weren't a superfood because chickens were magic back then. They were a superfood because chickens ate what chickens are supposed to eat, lived how chickens are supposed to live, and produced eggs that reflected that health. That's the knowledge the egg industry doesn't want you to have. Because if you understand the problem isn't eggs, it's how we produce them, you stop buying their product. You start demanding real food. And that's exactly what you should do. Medieval eggs were food. Your supermarket carton is an industrial output. The choice is yours. The secret was never lost. It was just buried under 50 years of bad science and corporate profit. Every time you choose a real egg from a pastured hen, you reclaim that knowledge. Knowledge that kept people strong when food was scarce. Knowledge that still works today. Subscribe, and let's keep digging up what they buried.